Tonight we have the Vivit Magia Baiser from Gushing over Magical Girls. Is it way too spicy to be on your shelf? Almost certainly, but we're going to open it up anyway. Stay tuned. Welcome back to Alcohol and Anime Night, everybody. My name's Scott, and tonight we're checking out a figure from a company called Vivit, and it is from one of my favorite series because it is so ridiculous, so raunchy, and it was called Gushing Over Magical Girls, or the translation ends up being I Admire Magical Girls, but this is the figure based on the main character, Utena, who is the queen of the goons. And she, if you don't know the story, and you should go check out my video wherever I put it of the review of Gushing Over Magical Girls. Basically, the idea is that she is a total gooner, a total weeb over these magical girls that are in her world. Think Sailor Moon. But she has a very unhealthy obsession with them. And at some point, some kind of magical creature comes out and says, hey, you can be a magical girl as well. And so she does, but the kind of energy that she brings out, she is a magical girl, but she's like an evil magical girl that brings out almost all the worst characteristics of herself, and she becomes basically this villain called Magia Baiser. And thus there's this whole scenario of her just wanting to interact with the girls. She doesn't care if it's a positive or negative experience, the idea that she just gets to interact with them in some way, and so she kind of just leans into this villain character. The villain has a very, very spicy costume, and of course this figure leans into that. So let's talk a little bit about the figure itself. The unboxing, obviously, pretty easy. You pull the whole thing out, open it up, and right off the bat, I want to point out the base. You've heard me talk on many reviews how crappy the bases are on most figures. I've got this amazing Lucy figure behind me that cost probably double what this cost, and there's no texture, no writing, nothing whatsoever on the base. And here is an incredible translucent with graphics on it. It has a tilt to it. The only other figure that I can think of that has a base that's equal to or better is my Asuka figure that has the bit of rubble on it that she's leaning against, or she's got her foot up on. But otherwise, I think most figure companies, they really cheap out on the base. Here, it works perfectly. This is maybe the best base I've gotten on a figure that wasn't, expensive. And so for these expensive figures, given a kind of shitty base like that, they should be ashamed of themselves. So, enough gushing over the base, but the first thing I want to say is that this is a very accurate representation of this figure, right down to the expression. Now, as far as the assembly, it's really just 3 steps. 1, put the head on the shoulders. It just slides right in, easy peasy. 2, put her on the base, and it's actually clipped in 2 different spots. It's very solid. You can see it's not moving around. And lastly, this whip bit, you install separately. So you actually don't need to put that on there, but if you want to display her a slightly different way, just having her hand up, you could do that. But I actually like that it was a separate piece rather than molded in, which could be either delicate or it just gives you less options. So right off the bat, the idea of having a detachable accessory and an incredible base, what a bargain. And now we're going to get to one of the parts that I like the most is what did I pay for this thing? I went to the UbuCon in Mesa and was walking through the vendor hall, and I saw Magia Baiser, and I was like, I gotta get it. How much is it? And the guy was like, yeah, $25. $25? Yeah, I'm in, 100%. And so I want to say I probably paid $27 with tax or whatever. Obviously no shipping because I was there. And to get something that's this quality, now obviously it's not scale quality or whatever, but if you're looking for a representation of this figure, you really can't go wrong. And I looked online, it is about $25, but they're kind of hard to find. I don't know if either they sold out because the price was good. So I'll get to that a little bit later about where to find it. But when I'm looking at the detail, the eye detail is excellent. There's even what I thought was initially, I thought it was some paint scuffs up here, but it's actually a detail that's almost like her, like the little star on her horns. And I thought it was a paint scuff, but it's actually painted in there in her horns. There's right next to her eyes, her little star is there as well. There's really quite a lot of color on here too. There's at least 4 or 5 different colors that they've painted on there. So, and if you look at the detail on the dress, there's multiple layers that go up underneath here. It's hard to see, but like, it's not a simple type figure. They've really done the most what you can do with this price point. Again, $25. You can't even get like a G.I. Joe classified figure for that. So really good. If you like the show, I would say if we do the PP touch, the P for paint, P for pose, and touch, you know, how does it feel? P, as far as the paint, you know, it does a good job of kind of mixing glossy and matte together, but I think they've done a good job with it. I'm just trying to see if there's any imperfections that I can notice on the back, on the front. The only thing I could complain about if I had to is I just would have maybe seen just maybe a little bit more texture on the dress, but I'd be really, so I would say as far as for this dollar amount, the paint is fine. They've even gone so far as to paint her fingernails, which is absolutely tiny. So the pose, yeah, it's definitely a pose that she does in the show, and I'll be honest, this is probably one of the most PG versions that they could have done, and I'm surprised that they were even able to do this and get it on retail shelves. So pretty good that they were able to do that. And touch, how does it feel? I will say that the dress feels kind of plasticky. It's made out of plastic, so it doesn't have that kind of that bendy that you might expect. Now the underskirt here is more of like a bendy thing, so I like that. But the one on the outside is kind of rigid. These little bat wings also feel a little fragile. But overall, I think that the touch feels good. It feels solid. Like I said, this thing doesn't feel like it's just going to shake apart. It doesn't feel like a Temu figure. So Vivit, who I have not gotten a figure from before, so far looking really good. As you might know, season 2 of Gushing Over Magical Girls is coming soon, and so who knows, I might pick up some other figures. And that brings me to my question. So there is a what they call 1.5 version of this, which is, I think that's the one that's really available right now. And there's also a version of Leopard, who is the other character. She's got kind of like a gun, and she's got kind of like a military outfit. I suspect they'll have even more coming up. The question is, should I get them? So comment down below if you want me to get one of those. I could easily be convinced, and if so, which one should I get? Put that down below. I'm also going to put a link to where you can get this one, so I definitely recommend it. And yeah, so I'm going to try to do a little bit better on my reviews, getting them out sooner. But if you like Gushing Over Magical Girls and you got room on your shelf for it, now that brings up another really good point. Is this too spicy for your shelf? Would you display this? You know, or is it something that you're like, yeah, I can't see myself buying this because I couldn't display it anywhere? Or do you have a secret room to display your stuff? I don't know. But I feel like this one's right on the border of what can be displayed. So you guys comment down below, see what you think. Is it too spicy for your shelf? I don't know. You tell me. Well, until next time, my name is Scott. Kampa.